We are so happy to welcome a dear friend of ours on to Swanky Southern Nights tonight. She is so talented, so beautiful. Nadirah Shakoor, how you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great. Thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you were so amazing. And I got to see you just a few months back in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Yes.
You continue to pay tribute to your dear friend, Jimmy Buffett, by keeping his music alive for all of the great audiences out there that love to hear it.
Always and forever. We're going to keep doing it as long as we can.
Awesome. I love it. So you've been traveling quite a bit lately.
A little bit, not as much as normal years or, before Jimmy left. Did a few shows here and there. And the Coral Reefer Band, as you know, did 3 big shows, which were great. And we're hoping to do lots more of those next year, starting maybe January.
That's great. You did the Hollywood Bowl, right?
We did do the Hollywood Bowl, which was awesome. We were kind of the house band for all those wonderful special guests that we had that came up to honor Jimmy.
Yes. Yeah. And there were some incredible
Absolutely.
On that show.
There really were. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, Nadirah, so we know a little bit about you, but our listeners, we love to tell a little bit of backstory. So now the Coral Reefer Band was actually in existence from like the 70s or something. Is that right?
Yeah, when I was a little girl.
Yes. So how did you connect? And what was your background before that? And how did you connect with that?
Well, I was born in San Antonio, Texas, but I was raised in Los Angeles. And I had an uncle who was very prominent on the sort of studio scene. Mm-hmm. And his name was Wally Ali. And he kind of took me around to different studios with him on his gigs. And I started auditioning for tours and things. And, did my first tour in 1984, I think it was, with Howard Hewitt. And I went on to do some others, Paula Abdul, Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation Tour, and Al Jarreau. Yes. Sang on a lot of records, did jingles. Back then, jingle work was plentiful.
Yes.
Not so much today. But my father died in 1992, and I was mourning and turned on the TV one day and saw this group, a hip-hop group, and they were doing a song called Everyday People, I think it was. Yes. And anyway, it was Arrested Development.
Yes.
And I saw this girl singing up in a tree, and their vibe was kind of African and country and hip hop and spiritual, and I just fell in love with them. And I was like, wow, I want to be in that band. Yeah. So I just kind of bought everything. They were on every magazine cover and, music related. And I bought their CD and found out a couple of months later that they were looking for a female vocalist because the girl that was singing in the tree was not really a member of the group. She was kind of a guest. Mm-hmm. So I wrote them, sent them a letter, sent them some music, and they said, when we come to LA, we'll get in touch with you. But they didn't. However, the opening group this is a long story. Is that all right?
No, we want to hear this.
Yes, that's awesome. I love it.
The group that was opening for them was using Janet's old band. So I was able to call, because I knew all those guys in the band. We grew up together. I was able to call them and get all access backstage pass. So I went to the show, went backstage, met the leader of the group, and auditioned in catering. And a couple of weeks later, I was in London doing Top of the Pops with them. So I ended up in Arrested Development, got my wish came true. And then a couple of years later, there was some infighting between the 2 leaders of the band, Speech and Headliner. So they disbanded. So now I'm in Atlanta. I've moved to Atlanta because they asked me to relocate after my first year of working with them. And my son's at school. I bought a house and I'm like, oh my God, I'm here now without a job. So because all of my friends and contacts in the business were in Los Angeles, I made some calls to my friends in LA, and 3 opportunities were presented to me. One was Spearhead with Michael Franti, which is another hip hop group that I absolutely loved, but it was only for 2 weeks and really wasn't paying enough to pay my bills. So the other one was Yanni, and his music was very, I don't know what you call it, ethereal and beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
New age, I think it was is the genre. But anyway, his show paid the most. His tour paid the most. However, the entire show was instrumental except for one song. So I would only be singing like, on one song, and I thought I'd be bored. So the third opportunity was Jimmy Buffett, whom I had never heard of at the time. And for some reason, I assumed, I don't know why, that it was a jazz. He was a jazz artist. So in my mind, it was Jimmy Buffett and his jazz trio or quartet. And the person that recommended me for that was actually Helen Hyatt, who was Janet's wardrobe stylist at the time, and she was also Jimmy's wardrobe stylist. So that's how that was the connection there. And so I said yes to that gig, and they sent me the music about a week later. And when it came, a lot of it was from the 70s, and it sounded really country to me. And I didn't know if I would fit in because, I'm coming from the world of hip hop. And, I had my ring in my nose here, I had my locks, anyway, so I started crying. I called my mom and I was like, I don't think I'm going to fit in. They're probably going to say no, thanks, because it was kind of country. And my mom said, well, do you need a job or don't you? And I said, yes, I do. And she said, well, just do it for a year. And then if you don't like it, you could do something else. And so I did it for a year, which turned into 28 years.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up being a member of the Coral Reefer Band.
Wow.
An integral part of the Coral Reefer Band.
Yeah.
And because your background was different, that obviously was the perfect piece that made that puzzle complete. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I mean, you sang a lot of backup with him, but you were a featured vocalist in that band at every concert. Yeah.
Actually, when I was first hired, I was hired to stand next to Jimmy and sing, but it was just kind of weird, So I think that lasted a few shows, and then they just put me with the other singers, which felt more comfortable because took a minute. Wow. Yeah. It was a very interesting transition, though. I'll tell you, my first show, I felt like I was at the Rocky Horror Picture Show because so much of the audience was in costume and the beach ball. I just had never experienced anything like it. But the overall feeling was one of joy, and I loved that. And that's, part of the reason I stayed.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Nadirah, you've got a lot of great music out there. We'd love to hear what you're doing now with your music that you've created and that you're continuing to create.
Well, I do have some music out there, and I've been writing and recording, seems like forever, to try to get this next CD out. But I have enough music now recorded and ready to go for a couple of CDs. So It's probably going to end up being a couple because I also do house music. So a lot of my music is that. So I'm probably going to do a house music and then another one, which will be more pop,
Yeah.
My mom keeps telling me she wants me to do a jazz album.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't feel qualified. But I probably would do it for her just because that's my mama. And she asked me.
And you know what? That's probably going to be huge because you did it for your mama.
It'd be interesting. I kind of always wanted to do a blues album, though. So, music is music. So it's kind of unfortunate that it's all, you got to do this if you're this kind of singer or this color,
Yes.
I'd like to do an album with a little bit of everything on it,
Yeah.
I mean, and Jimmy was kind of like that. He'd do a little bit of jazzy kind of stuff, you know.
Stars Fell on Alabama, great version of that
a little
song.
country,
The mustache
little,
song?
The mustache, of course, pencil thin mustache, all that stuff. Absolutely.
Which I never knew Jimmy wrote Pencil Thin Mustache till this year. I always thought he was covering it because it seems like a song I had heard all my life.
Yeah.
But he wrote that.
Well, we're going to be actually on this show, we're going to be playing, with your permission, of course, we're going to be playing a couple of things from your Nod to the Storyteller album, which is just a beautiful, beautiful album. Of course, now just a wonderful tribute as well. But your versions are just amazing and very, very much your own style, which is great on Jimmy's great songs.
Thank you. A lot of that can be attributed to Mac McAnally.
Love
because
Mac
he
McAnally.
Produced the album. And Creola, for instance,
Yes. That's on the show?
That's all Mac.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And at the end of Son of a Son, we kind of go into the Tina Turner Tina Turner Review kind of,
Yes.
you know, and that was Mac's idea too. It so happened that when we recorded that song, it was the day that Ike passed. So he wanted to do a little bit of, you know, a tribute to that. So
Ike Turner.
we did. Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's really, really
Thank
done
you.
so well, so tastefully and so fun. You know,
Thanks.
just wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun doing that album. I used 3 different bands. I'm not sure if you knew that, but I used my own band for the songs that I wrote. And then I used the Coral Reefer Band for some of the other stuff. And then we used Sonny Landreth's band for like a couple of the songs, like When the War is Over and Volcano. That's Sonny's band. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So well done. Yep.
Yeah.
So well done. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Nadirah.
Nadirah, that's a new one.
Dear Nadirah, I'm wearing my Soul Circle today.
Oh, yay!
Yes. Yeah. Will you tell everybody about your Soul Circle?
They're so cool.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. I make them for men too, by the way.
I need one. Yes. I'm going to
I'll
get one.
make you one. Megan.
I'm going to get one. Thank you.
I started making them in 2020 because I didn't know what to do with myself. I had been on the road every single year since 1984, 2020 being the exception. And I really didn't know what to do with myself or how to act. And I know that most of the country felt that way. I dare say a lot of the world felt that way. But a friend of mine had been making those for years, and she had stopped making them for about 10 years. I used to buy them from her. She called them rhythm circles. And so I asked her, how would she feel about me making them? And she gave me her blessing. Mine are a little different, but so I call them soul circles. And I enjoy doing it. I started doing it, and now I've made hundreds. And I haven't got a website or anything, but I talked to Mike Ramos, and he said we might start selling them at our big shows. So
nice.
They might charge a little more. So we'll see how that goes. But
they're beautiful and very definitely from the soul. I mean, they've just got their own life to them. They're great.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so can people order these right now, though? You say you don't have a website, but can they send you a message and order them?
They can. Soul Circles. And then the digit 4, the letter U. So soulcirclesforyou at gmail.com. Just drop me an email and I will get back to them. And I try to use as much natural material as I can. And each one that I make, I will say that I spray them with rose water and I pray intention into them. And I wash them, because I source beads from all over the world. So, sometimes they're kind of dirty. Anyway, I wash them and I pray intention that whoever wears them feels certain things. I won't say what they are, but
that's so beautiful.
Good stuff.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Well, I love mine. Thank you so much. And
You're very welcome.
so we have some mutual friends we got a shout out to today. Danny Raspberry down in Laurel, Mississippi. Hi, Danny. I know he loves having you on the show. And then, of course, Debbie and Doyle Grisham. We want to say hi to them too.
Hi, Debbie.
Yeah.
Hi, Doyle. I just saw Doyle in, where were we? Stevensville, Maryland. Mm-hmm. We did a show, which was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great. Another one of the Coral Reefers, we might add.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. That's great. So what's next for Nadirah? What's on the horizon?
I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. Writing, doing as many shows as I can. I'm looking for some local musicians now because I want to have a local band.
In the Atlanta area?
In the Atlanta area.
Yeah.
I've been working with, other musicians, but it's just expensive to fly someone from this state and that state. So I'll always work with certain of, like Claire, that's my girl, Claire Finley, bass player, as much as I can. But I do need to find some musicians here so I can just start doing more gigs and affordable.
Whatever it is going to be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, thank you so much
for having me, for inviting me. It's been a while in the making, but we finally did it.
Well, thank
That's
you.
right.
Thank
We're so glad you were part of Swanky Southern Nights.
Yes.
Adding some swank.
Southern Nights.
That's
Adding some
right.
swank to our Southern Nights. Yeah. Nadirah, Shakoor, thank you so much for being
Thank you,
part
guys.
of what we're
Thank
doing.
you.
We love you, and we
Love you
appreciate you
too.
so very much. Yeah.
Hopefully see you very soon in Mississippi, right?
Yes.
As soon as
very
Danny's
soon.
ready for us again.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.